Mm. All right. See, that's a little bit better. Okay. Shorter workout and shorter live stream today. Yeah, that's my older phone. What's this? Oh, look at that. Machismo is live. Cool. All right, let's get started. Wait, I have to grab something. All right, 4 viewers. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Yo. So for those who are training their sides with a bull worker, if you want to get an extra strong contraction, great way to do it is pull up your knee, like I'm showing right here. Is the bull worker in view? Yes. Exactly like I'm doing here. You'll put more contraction on your obliques by doing so. You're looking skinnier, you're on a diet. I have worked out very little in the past, well, a very long time. I think that this is, the last workout I had was also during a live stream. So that's, I don't know, maybe a week ago. I've got to do the other side too. This looks a little bit strange. Hey. Alright, let's adjust. Let's bring this a little bit down. That's better. Let's need some plates. Lost weight, but still plenty of strong. Plenty of strength left. I kind of sucks on this. Okay. Just When are you going back to full-time training? Well, I'm trying to get started again. Wait. I'm trying to get active again. I'll start out training 3-4 times a week, probably very soon. Will I ever get as serious again as I was a few years ago? I don't know. But I don't think that's necessary. I found that, once you've built up the foundation, once you've done it, once you have trained seriously for a while, then you can get away with a lot less exercise. And you can still have very good results. Even now it's not so obvious with a shirt on, but I still have plenty of mass left. And that's from, a lot of inactivity. However, one thing that I might get serious about, I've been thinking about this, is a bit of strength training. A bit of isometric strength. Seeing how far I can push this thing, but with a heavier spring. Very light spring in this one, currently. But yeah, I'm planning to be a bit more serious with isometric strength, and then also the conventional lifts, the bench press, squat, deadlift. Not really as interested anymore in building as much mass as possible. If I'm going to spend a decent amount of time on fitness, then it might as well be more oriented towards functionality. What percentage will the bull worker be in your future workouts moving forward? Probably not different from what it used to be. Kind of depends on the workout. Anywhere between, let's say 30 and 60%. Maybe some workouts are exclusively based on the bull worker. But generally speaking, if I'm gonna look at my programs over a long period of time, then the amount of the amount that I use my bull worker is anywhere between, like, let's say 30-50%. What do you do mainly for chest? Bench press. Yes, exactly. I do the bench press. I do one bull worker exercise. So I don't do this one as much currently. I don't know if I can show you. Although this one is actually also in the instruction manuals for the older ones from Gerd F. Caldwell. He has this exercise for the chest. So this one. This one is very, very good. Great exercise, probably one of the best exercises you can do for the upper chest. So you have that. Sometimes push-ups, not a great one. Sometimes an isometric exercise like this, pushing upwards. You can also do this with a free weight, with a plate. So that one. But I would say primarily bench press. Bench press. That is the most important exercise for me when it comes to the chest. This is another great one for the chest, but I don't do this one as much. Also good for the front of the shoulder. Right. Let's do the lats. Oh. Is fiber overrated? Uh, I mean, there are certainly people who restrict their fiber and well, they quite literally never go to the toilet ever again. Well, not literally, but they almost never get a bowel movement. And they say that they feel a lot better the moment that they consume more foods with fiber. There are other people who say the opposite. They feel better with less fiber, but generally speaking, people tend to feel better with a little bit of fiber in their diet. How much fiber do people really need? I don't know. Maybe it depends on your genetics. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it depends on other factors in your diet. My diet is well, obviously quite high in fiber. Um, I do know that, interestingly enough, there are, well, this is not common. There are people who get constipation if they consume sometimes any amount of fiber. There are people who, so there are people who get the complete opposite. And the only way that they can resolve this if they lower their fiber intake sometimes to 0. This is the case in, I believe, that they call this idiopathic constipation. Like they did a study on this, an idiotic constipation. And is that the correct term? Idiopathic constipation. And the moment that they, so they had a few patients who had this, idiopathic constipation, and they gave them a diet without any fiber, and it resolved their condition. And idiopathic means, in this case, that they have a condition where they do not know what the cause for the condition is. Like they don't have a clear, they don't, they don't know the origin, or they don't know the reason. Well, I would say that in this case, if you can resolve it for, this was a small study, like, I don't know, 10 people, maybe. I would say that if you can resolve the condition in all of those patients, then clearly the origin is not idiopathic. The origin for those people is fiber. I don't know why there's such a divergent reaction to fiber for different people. Again, maybe it's genetics. Maybe it has to do with other factors in the diet. I don't know. I personally feel that me and most people do better with at least a certain amount of fiber. People who never go to the toilet, they typically tend to have less bowel problems, have less pain in their gut when they consume a bit of fiber. Do people need 100 grams of fiber? I don't know. What is the recommendation for it anyway? Like 35 grams of fiber? Something like that. Do people need 100 grams of fiber? Is there like what you will see in a lot of vegan narratives? The more fiber, the better? I don't know. I doubt it. I've never been tracking the amount of fiber that I consume. I find it bloat and bad gas. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't have that problem. And I don't think that most people have that problem. At least not from fiber. But, you might get a problem from it. For whatever reason. One thing you could try, there's a suggestion, is sauerkraut. That might possibly regulate it. Or might make it worse. Again, the digestive system of humans is a mystery. There's also, of course, the thing that it depends a little bit on what are you adjusted to. There are people who, for example, when they start eating beans, right? They initially they produce a lot of gas. Or if people start consuming dairy while they have not had it in a very long time, typically initially they will get bad gas, and then over time they adjust to the beans or the dairy or whatever was giving them gas in the first place. Again, this is not always the case, but it could possibly be related to simply not having yet been adjusted to the foods that you're eating, or have yet to adjust to an increased amount of fiber. That's a possibility as well. The one thing that I would say is that considering that a lot of people do not get bloating or bad gas from fiber, I would say that that is, in a sense, pretty damning evidence that fiber cannot inherently be blamed. But it could be blamed from an individual to individual basis. Right, I'm not planning to live stream too long. I wanted this to be a short one. Let's say I think 10-20 more minutes. Hmm? When you how long would it have been? 6 years, something like that. All right, biceps. Oh. So a lot of people, when they train the biceps, what they do is they turn the wrists like this. See? I personally find that when you train your biceps like this, by not turning your wrist, with exception to turning your wrist at the end of the contraction, as you can see, I find that leads to a better eccentric. It leads to a better stretch on the bicep. Because the moment you turn, oh, what's this? It's garbage. So the moment you turn your wrist, like this, there's no tension in your bicep at all. But if it's turned, there is tension. Ever thought about buying adjustable dumbbells? But they're quite cool, aren't they? You know, it's one of those tools that you afford either for convenience or because it saves some room. Now, the amount of room is not a problem, but I guess it would be a bit more convenient. I like adjustable dumbbells. I think that it is a cool concept. Sometimes, from what I've seen, at least the older ones, I don't know, I guess that the newer ones work better, but the older ones can sometimes malfunction. So, I have a hard time to adjust the weight. But the good ones, or the more expensive ones, I don't think that those have that problem. It for sure is a investment, not one that I think is worth it for me specifically, but you know, if I had money to burn, then I would say sure, why not. Power blocks are not too bad. Yeah, those are the square adjustable dumbbells, right? Yeah, those are pretty cool. There's a pretty big. Well, I guess more than one. There are a few big YouTube fitness YouTubers who use those, the power blocks. And as far as it comes to the hammer curls, the hammer curls are great for the brachialis. I would say that if I say it correctly, a supinated grip like this is even better for the brachialis. But when it comes to the biceps, then I believe that just normal dumbbell curls are superior over over hammer curls, for sure. Alright, one more set. Actually, you know what? I'll do 2 sets of hammer curls. Why not? Power blocks are quite expensive, aren't they? You can like expand them over time, but I think that the full set, or even like one dumbbell, costs, last time I checked, like over $1,000. Again, they're really cool from what I've seen, but very expensive. Power block. Googling it now. Oh, they're not that expensive anymore. No, they're actually quite affordable. Hmm. Who knows? Maybe I will consider it. Here you have like the stage 1, the cheapest. Remember that like cheaper adjustable weights, again, they can malfunction and you can take a bit of time before you can you have the how to put it, the adjustment mechanism correct. But from what I recall, the power blocks, they are very quick, very efficient. But it is and remains an investment. Oh, they also have a barbell version, huh? How does that work? Oh, curl bar. Right. Already wondered. Would not be a good format for a barbell. The Bowflex. I've heard that term before. Is that like a body blade? Yeah, I think it is, right? Oh, a Bowflex. Yeah. Bowflex home gym. You never see those here. I think that's not sure. I think that's more like an American trend. We don't have them. Well, you can order them, but they're basically unknown here. To look at all these terms. What was it? Iron Masters. What is that? Oh, also just little dumbbells. Right. Yeah. Well, those are really expensive. $800 for a set, or euros, in fact. But you can extend them to 74 kilos per dumbbell. That is quite something. That would not fit on a dumbbell like this. Are you still on the vegan diet? I have been a flexitarian for a while, didn't like it, so currently I'm a vegan again. Or a plant-based eater, however you want to phrase it. So you've done the biceps. That's pretty much it. Should do the triceps and then the legs, perhaps. Yeah, I did. After a very long time, I thought, well, I should at least try if I'm gonna feel better by, yeah, but because before I went vegan initially, I had a logbook where I tried several things out, and I more or less came to the conclusion that the less animal products that I was eating, the better that I felt. And then eventually, after a very long time, I thought, well, who am I to say that I might not miss something? So I gave it a shot, and well, didn't notice anything, didn't feel better, so back to vegan. Can you build as much muscle on a vegan diet? I could build muscle better on a vegan diet. Same thing with strength. But I will not say that this has something to do with plant protein being superior or anything of that sort. The reason is that, I simply eat a lot more starch. And I think that that is kind of the missing ingredient for fitness success to most people. It is not necessarily the protein. Granted that you are actually eating enough protein. After that point, the limiting factor becomes how much carbohydrates you consume. Also, granted, you eat enough fat. If you have enough fat and you have enough protein in your diet, then the limiting factor becomes how much carbohydrates you consume. At least for most people, that is the case for me. What's the most you ever curled? What is the most I've ever curled? Like in pounds or in kilos? Like strict curling. I did a video on that. Hey, thanks for the donation, Centauri. Yeah, I find it very fascinating, because I can now at least speak from an unbiased perspective. And I'm not saying that what works for me is gonna work for everyone, but in my personal experience, I build mass the best on a vegan diet, just undeniably. And again, I'm not selling people anything. I'm not saying that it is the superior diet or the best diet from a health perspective, or that it is the most sense, like the thing that makes most sense from a philosophical perspective. But when it comes to fitness results, for me, it was the best thing. You are my favorite channel on YouTube. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's an awesome compliment to receive. Like the most that I've strict curled. I've done a video on this, strict curling. The form was a little bit off, I'd say, but I think that I curled, what would it have been? 45 kilos, something like that. Last questions. Can isometric build muscle and strength? Yes, but, well, when it comes to strength, you gotta understand that the form of strength that you build up with isometrics, it is different than the form of strength that you build up with conventional lifts. So, let's say that you do a chest compression with a bull worker and you try to maximize the amount of strength that you put in. That's not going to build up the same amount of strength as you get from isotonic movements. So it is different, right? Like from the chest compressions. You see this with old-time strongmen as well, right? Like if you look at the old-time strongmen who were bending bars, for example, bent iron bars with their arms, they are very good at that, but they're not necessarily very good at bench pressing. And the same thing you can see when you look at the physique. They do become more muscular, they become very striated, but they don't necessarily build up a ton of mass. And I think that might have something to do with time under tension, mostly. I'm not sure. I think that if you do prolonged isometrics, meaning that you extend the duration, you do long isometric holds, then maybe they are better for building up muscle mass. But typically with isotonics, with isotonic exercise, right, with like lengthening and contraction, conventional lifting, typically if you do 3 sets of that, you spend about 3 minutes under tension. Do you do 3 sets of isometrics, of long isometric holds, then you might have trained for, let's say, a minute or a minute and a half. So you're talking about a different duration. And I think that there is a lot of value in, at least when it comes to building muscle, by going through the motion, by going through extension and contraction. It's not necessarily the thing that you have to maximally extend and maximally contract, although there is something to say for that, but it is more so that you actually extend and contract, right? And then even a range of motion to that comes second. So that's the best way that I can answer that question. And as far as this goes, curling. This is, let's see, 30, 40, 45 kilos. This is 45 kilos. And I've not trained in a very long time. So let's see if I can manage to do this much. What is this? Untrained. It's after a lot, well, not untrained, but like very little activity. I think I will probably close down the live stream not too long from now. 5-10 minutes. So if anyone has any questions, give it a shot. And then I'm gonna end it there. That was a good workout. I think that's enough for now. It is Makeup Resurgence Pro Con. What do you mean? Oh, high intensity training, you mean? Yeah, I guess. You know, it's all trends. Just do whatever you enjoy most doing. I think that is the most effective way to train. Because if you can do something that you actually enjoy, it's a lot easier for one, and you will feel a lot more motivated to do it. And that by itself, granted, it's not too low effort. I mean, if it is something you can do for a very long time, like jogging, that typically will not build a lot of muscle mass or strength, but it is good for, you know, endurance. Do I think it's good or bad? Mm, in general, yeah, it's fine. Depends on your goals. Would I say it's unhealthy? No. But it's not my thing either. I do like high repetition sets. You know, do push-ups still failure, do squats still failure, things like that. I don't mind doing that, but things like boot camp, I've never been a fan of that. It's good for your endurance. Things like boot camp. I think boot camp falls under the same category, right? High intensity training, but yeah, I don't know. Don't enjoy it. I also think that it's not the most effective for building mass, and certainly also not the most effective for building strength. But one thing that I will grant it is it's very efficient for being functional. Probably yes. Probably more so than conventional lifting weights. Like if you just want to be a very active, efficient person in day-to-day life, then high intensity training is probably uh, one of the better options. Because really, most people they don't need to be very strong. They don't necessarily have to be uh, capable of lifting heavy weights. With good stamina that is granted by something like high intensity training, great stamina, great endurance, and certainly some ability to use explosive strength, which high intensity training gives you. Yeah, those are all beneficial. If there is any type of training that's going to kill you, though, next to endurance training, it's probably high intensity training is gonna do the trick. In that regard, it is very demanding of your heart. Let's see, a few more minutes, then I close. I was wondering where you are from and where you live. I live in the Netherlands, and I'm Dutch. Hmm. All right. Well, do you get tendon pain after bull worker? Well, primary reason, the primary reason that people get pain in their tendons from the bull worker is when they do this exercise, when they do the, excuse me, show you, is when they do the chest compression like this, right? But the thing is, when you do it from this angle, meaning you keep your elbows relatively low, is that what I'm currently doing? So like this, you get what is called tennis elbow. You more or less make this movement with your arm. And that's gonna cause pain in the tendons, mostly in this part of your arm. Both arms, really. And if you want to avoid that, what you must do is keep your elbows up. So keep your elbows like this. This is the correct way to do it. See? Keep your elbows at the same height of your shoulders. And then compress. So not like this. This is not okay. Right? This is wrong. This is okay. This is the right way to do it. That is the primary reason that people get pain in their joints and usually their elbows when they use a bull worker. Other than that, typically people don't get pain in their joints when they use a bull worker. Thank you, that's helped a lot. Good. I assumed that it was that. Now, if you already have pain in your elbows, my recommendation is that you take plenty of rest. Because there is now an active inflammation going in that part of your body. And typically, 9 out of 10 times, this resolves from itself. Just give your body enough rest and wait until there is no more pain in your elbows. All right? Before that, before the pain is resolved completely, don't start doing chest compressions again, because then you could possibly make the problem worse. Yeah. That's it. Everyone who joined, thank you for coming to the live stream. And I wish everyone a nice evening or nice rest of the day. We all live in different time zones. So enjoy the rest of your day. And again, thank you for joining all. And we'll see you all in the next one. There's the button to end the stream. Goodbye.